أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي فالحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Everyone, once again, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Something briefly I want to mention, I don't want to dwell on it because we have so much other things to cover, is that Allah Azza wa Jal in this surah has told us to stay away from making assumptions, right? In this ayah we saw, اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن, stay as much as you can away from making assumptions. And then immediately he said, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا, don't spy. But earlier on in the same surah, Allah said, if a corrupt person comes to you with news, what should you do? You should verify. فَتَبَيَّنُوا. And how are you going to verify if you're not going to investigate? An investigation, somebody could argue, is a form of spying, right? Because you're trying to find the information. This is where it's really important to understand that the Quran is expecting a minimal level of common sense from the listener and the reader. It's not speaking in a vacuum. It's speaking to people that are, aqilin. They know how to use their intellect. In other words, when there's a criminal investigation, when there's a threat, hey, this tribe is about to attack you, or there's about to be an invasion or something like that. Should you do the investigation? Yeah, absolutely. You should be doing an investigation and finding out and verifying because there's an actual threat, right? And there are other scenarios in which, hey, I heard this person said this, this, and this. It's not a threat, it's just an insult. Somebody claiming that they insulted you, and you're like, whoa, who did they say it to? Let me find out from their friend to their friend to their friend. Let me make a little, dashboard of pictures of people that I've already investigated from to come up with the trail of quotes until I get to who said what. This benefits nobody. It's not a life and death situation. It's not a criminal case. It's just hurt feelings or something, and you're trying to turn it into something it's not. This is where tajassus becomes a problem, right? There are situations that are worth an investigation. In fact, later on, when two Muslim groups are fighting each other, Allah said, فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا بِالْعَدْلِ وَأَقْسِطُوا. Make peace between them, make reconciliation by doing justice. How are you going to do justice? This one makes this claim, this one makes that claim. Every claim will have to be what? Investigated. If you don't investigate it, then you can't do justice, right? So in cases of life and death, in cases of profit and loss, in cases of theft, in cases of inheritance being taken, or murder, or criminal case, or whatever else, of course you have to do an investigation. The same thing is true actually of dhann also, assumptions. I gave a khutbah about assumptions maybe a couple of months ago, that actually assumptions are an essential part of our survival. You can't live without assumptions. From childhood, a child runs down the stairs and trips. And then he learns, and he assumes the next time he runs, he's going to trip. So he slows down, holds on to something, and comes down slowly because he learned from previous experience, right? We make assumptions about what's going to happen in the future, project based on assumptions of the past. Many of you are in data analytics. Now it's an emerging field or an emergent field, right? What is data analytics? You're making assumptions about the future of the market or the future of the trend or the growth or whatever based on what? Based on the past. You don't have hard data, you have past data. And using it, you're making projections. And projections are nothing more than educated assumptions, aren't they? Political politics, polls, elections, real estate prices, right? So many things based on assumptions. People bought Tesla stock when they saw Trump is winning. Smart assumption. Probably should be selling it sooner than recently. But the point is, assumptions are necessary. In fact, even simply as driving a car. When you stop at a red light, you're assuming the guy behind you is going to stop, right? If you didn't assume that, your life would be in danger because they'll ram right into you. When the light turns green, you go. You're assuming the guy on the other side is not going to T-bone you. They're going to stop. Life functions on assumptions. So when Allah is saying in this ayah, اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن, you could turn around and say, well, if we can't do dhann, then, how are we going to survive as a world? The entire world functions on assumption. That's when, again, aql is necessary. Is Allah talking about all kinds of assumptions? No, the entire surah is about how you deal with people. making the wrong kinds of assumptions about people, making assumptions about someone's intentions, making assumptions about someone's character. They came and said, Salam. Why did they say Salam? What do they really mean by that? They invited me over for dinner. What's their ulterior motive? Why do they really invite me? You're really trying to get inside somebody else's head and figure out their intentions. The action on the outside is not enough for you, or you have to read a bad intention into every action. This person is doing this for this and this and this reason. This is the real reason why they're doing it. So what happens is you're looking at the outside, but you're making educated about the inside. Right? That's the one that's being criticized here. That's the one that leads to it. That's the one that leads to sin. So that's one distinction that I wanted to make before you. Then, of course, even in the case of Musa alayhi salam, Allah taught us a tough lesson. Musa alayhi salam saw, in the time of Qaylula, he saw that the Egyptian soldier was beating up on an Israelite, right? And the Egyptians were the ruling class, and the Israelites were the slaves. And the Egyptians used to beat up on the slaves all the time. So he saw this 1,000 times before. But now he's in a position to do something about it because there's nobody else around. So he steps in. And he assumes, like the other 1,000 cases, that the Egyptian is the oppressor and the Israelite is the victim. That's what he assumes. And he throws in a punch. And then the Surah Al-Qasas later on itself elaborates that actually he was wrong. The guy that was getting a beating was actually the criminal. So in this one case out of 1,000, it was the Israelite who was in the wrong. It wasn't the Egyptian who was in the wrong. He was punishing him for some crime that he committed or something. And then he turned on Musa alayhi salam also and started calling him out, right? What did that story teach us? The story taught us that even if you see lots of cases of a group of people being a certain way, you cannot judge an individual case. Every individual case has to be judged on its own merits. Now, how crucial is this in the case of justice? Because justice was just mentioned in this surah. وَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا بِالْعَدْلِ وَأَقْسِطُوا. Imagine a judge. Let's just say it's a divorce court, civil court, divorce court judge, yeah? And he's seen 1,500 cases, right? And he's seen case after case after case. And he knows, he has an idea of what men do, and he has an idea what women do, he has an idea what lawyers do, because he's got that much experience, right? And he himself went through a divorce, right? And then his wife took everything. And the only thing he has left is the judge's robe. That's all he's got left, right? And now he's sitting in the judge's chair, and another case comes. And the lady's trying to take everything from the husband, or she's saying, he did this, he abused me, he did this. Now, he doesn't see that lady. For a second, he sees who? He sees his wife. He assumes she's doing the same thing to him that my ex-wife did to me. I'm not going to let her get away with it. You understand? So now his dhann is getting in the way of him doing justice. You understand? Right? So there's phenomenon. The other two that I explained to you, one thing I want to just now get right into is actually the imagery, the disturbing imagery. Let's go through it piece by piece. Would one of you love أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا, that they eat the flesh of their brother laying فكره. This phrase, it started with love. But the expected language was, isn't it true that you wouldn't love to do that? Isn't it true that you wouldn't love to do that? But instead Allah said, would you love to do that? Does any of you love doing that? The making it an affirmative statement is almost a condemnation. It's as if Allah is saying, you're already doing it, right? You love it. You love it. You love what you're doing. It's like that. It got ugly just because the la isn't there. Yuhibbukum is there. Yuhibbukum. Right? And atakrahun. Ayakrahu ahadukum. Does one of you not hate? Allah yakrahu ahadukum. Does not any of you hate that you should do this? No. Love was used. As if Allah is saying, the one doing this is actually loving it. They're loving it. This is a profound thing, because now Allah is teaching us people. And I'm not going to use the word backbiting, by the way. And there's a reason I won't use it, because I think it's a Muslim copyright term. Because I don't think non-Muslims or anybody else understands backbiting. They have what are they talking about? I never know. One, making false assumptions about people, making premature assumptions would be one. Tajassus, spying and snooping. Spying and snooping and being nosy into other people, tadakhul, in other people's business.
It's not just, oh, I put a camera on somebody, I hired a private investigator. That's not tajassus. But you asking around, trying to fish for information, that's all spying also. So even spying is enough snooping and being nosy and that sort of thing is within tajassus. And وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا is more gossiping. Gossiping is probably a closer word in the contemporary context. So gossiping about somebody or talking behind someone's back. That would be the third. And there are people who actually love this stuff. They love making assumptions about people. I know what these people are all about. I know what those are all about. Like there's a constant judgment game in their head. And they really feed off of it. And then when they have an assumption about, let me just make a scenario. I'll make myself the villain for your entertainment. I hate your guts. I just hate you. But you know what? And in my head, you're just an evil guy. Even when you come to the masjid, you're just trying to show everyone that you're a good guy, but I know what you really like. I know you. And now I'm sitting there just thinking about how one day you're going to get what's coming to you. Every time I see you smiling, I'm like, one day it's coming, it's coming. And I'm just obsessed with you. I'm thinking about you all the time. In fact, my hatred of you in my head that lives in my head rent-free is occupying my mind so much, I don't really think about much else. I'm just constantly, and I'm watching these different videos or whatever. I mean, I'm listening to Mufti men talk about the munafiqun, and your picture comes in my head. I'm listening to somebody talk about Jahannam, I see you getting barbecued. I see, whatever I see you. I just see you. And I'm watching random YouTube reels and I see like a cop, being abusive to a driver or whatever. He's just like that cop. That guy's just like that cop. Like I see you everywhere. I see anytime I see evil, I just see your face. You that guy. I'm not just pointing at you hypothetically. I'm pointing at the carpet, by the way, just in case you got paranoid. So now I'm just thinking about you all the time. But you know what? It's starting to make me upset. You know what's making me upset? Everybody else likes you. Man, nobody knows what this guy's really like except me. My one is not everybody else's one. I need everybody else to feel what I feel. I feed off of my rage. It feeds me every day. I'm consumed. I consume it and it consumes me. That's how I literally eat my rage. I eat it for breakfast. I eat these thoughts. You understand what I'm getting at? He eats the flesh, even in his mind. He hasn't even done anything, and he's just, I'm just fantasizing your destruction, your humiliation. One day people will see you for what you are. Oh my God, I can't wait till he gets fired. You just hear, he lost his business. Yes. Astaghfirullah on the outside, but alhamdulillah on the inside. Right? It's just living in my head. I'm feeding off. Now I have this consuming me in my mind. But then, still, other people still like him. That's not good enough. People aren't seeing what I see. I need to gather some evidence so I can present it to people so that they will see what I see. I need to change everybody's mind so they see the truth of my hatred being justified. I need to justify this to myself too. So now, in order to validate my claim to someone else, because if I just went and told them this guy's evil, they're going to say, based on what? You don't know, I just know. How do you know? I'm just telling you it's in my gut. I just know it. Yes, I know you get ilm al-ghayb, but that comes from either wahi or shaitan, and it looks like option B for you right now. Right? Now I'll prove it to you. And what are you going to do? You're going to go spy. You're going to go fish for information. So you see one happen and then tajassus happen. Now you got something. You got some preliminary. Let me tell you something about this spying thing. The word jassas was used in the Arabic language for an asad, al-mu'thir fi al-farisa bi barathihi. When the lion extends its claws and digs inside the prey, like it digs into the deer, and the claws go through the skin and penetrate into the flesh, right? That lion is called a jassas in Old Arabic, right? I'm going to dig into this guy's life until I get to the flesh. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to claw in until I find something. until I have something to show, right? So you're not just spying because, oh, you tried to spy a little bit, you didn't find